What's happening, you guys? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? We're kicking it old school, guys. We're kicking it old school with the old recording format. This software is going to run up pretty soon. So I just want to get some use out of it. But the main reason being I can do this in one take before I head into work, talking about the Habs wrapping up the Prospects Challenge weekend in Buffalo, where they take 2 out of 3 contests. They win 2 out of 3, one against Boston and one against Ottawa here today. And of course, the game that you saw me at against Buffalo on Friday, that was probably the best game in terms of just, I don't know, there was a lot of goals scored, but like just that initial hype and excitement, a full crowd in Buffalo at the Harbor Center, it was a blast. But let's talk about today specifically and the Habs Sens final prospect challenge game in Buffalo. And we're going to get to some standouts in a second here, because there were some standouts to me for this game today. And I think pretty much Montreal dominated. I wouldn't say dominated, but pretty close, because they seemed to have the puck. They had a lot of puck possession in this game, more so than the Ottawa Senators did in a big way, I think. So, like I mentioned, the Habs win 2 out of the 3 games here. And there's one player I want to highlight specifically, and it was in the title of this video. And I'm gonna put this up right away. And the reason being because he stood out to me a lot, not just in today's game, but also against the Buffalo Sabres. I didn't get a chance to see the Boston game. Not going to lie to you guys. All I heard was the great bounce back performances from guys like Logan Mayu and others that really put you guys at ease, especially with the victory that they had against the Bruins, winning as they did on Saturday. But I love the way Jan Meshach plays. This guy was a Hamilton Bulldog, won the OHL championship with our buddy Arbor Jackeye last year in 2022. And I hadn't really had a chance to see much of Jan Meshach play, but I got to say, he's a centerman, and I got to say that he really impressed me this weekend in these games specifically, because I saw him up close play. I saw his intensity. I saw him play up close in Buffalo, and then also here against the Senators today. And he ends up scoring the winning goal in this game. But before he even got to that winning goal, Jan Meshach, I got to tell you what I like about his game. To me, he reminds me of like a feistier Paul Byron. We know that Paul Byron is going to retire and likely become part of the staff of the Montreal Canadiens. We saw him training with the team already before rookie camp even began here. But I just love the way Jan Meshach plays. He's got compete, he's got grit, he's got fire, intensity. He plays with a lot of intensity, like basically every play that I see him out there, he's competing. He's got a high motor, kind of like Arbor Jackeye on the defensive end. We all know how Arby is turning out with us. But I just really love the way that Jan Meshach plays. His compete level and his intensity specifically stands out to me. And he really grinded out that winning goal at the end. He was digging for the rebound, and he was falling down as he put the puck in the net, just to add a little bit of extra, I don't know, flair, or just it was a cool looking goal at the end of the game. But I just love his compete level. He really stood out to me. I really liked what I saw. There was a couple fights in this game. There's a couple fights, a very, very brief fight with the other Bash brother and Florian Jackeye. It was a very brief fight, mind you, but he got a couple shots in kind of at the end. He tried to let up on his opponent and didn't really, go. It was a short-lived fight, in other words, is what I'm getting at. But there were 2 fights. The other one coming from McKay. McKay took on the big boy on the Ottawa Senators. I am drawing a blank on his name right now. You can put it in the comments below. Somebody will, I'm sure. But McKay, is it Riley McKay? I'm not sure of his first name. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm just going off the cuff for one take today. But McKay stood up to the big man on the Senators, and I wish I had his name right. I feel so. Anyway, I'm going to forgive myself right now, but he stood in that fight until the end. He looked like Ty Domi in there. Just, I mean, maybe I shouldn't compare him to Ty. That's not a good comparison. However, McKay stood in that fight, and right till the very end, he even got another shot in at the very end, and the Ottawa Senators player gave him a shout out for sticking in that game. It was a spirited fight. It was amazing to see the size difference, but just McKay had a lot of fight in that dog. Let me tell you right now, that was good to see from him. Logan Mayu also stood out big time today. I did see Logan's interview after the game today against the Senators, and he was getting, by the end of his interview, he was definitely getting a little bit, I don't know, it looked to me anyway like he had enough of the questions. It was a pretty long interview after the game, but it's his defensive game that he keeps getting questions about, and keeps getting asked about how he's improved defensively, and he said he's got to improve offensively and defensively. But Logan hit 2 posts in this game. He had plenty of opportunities to score. He has decent chemistry here with Jaden Struble, so you could see them together paired in Laval this season. It's a very good possibility. Struble didn't stand out a ton to me in this game, but I mean, he did make some good plays too, and also on the offensive side of the game. But Logan Mayu, and I'll put up the standouts graphic here just while I'm talking about these guys. But Logan Mayu specifically in this game stood out in a good way on the power play. Defensively, he uses his butt. He uses the back end to make checks and fight guys off the puck. He recovers well. He definitely mentioned how he didn't have his legs in game 1 when we were there in Buffalo on Friday against the Sabres, but he certainly has been getting his legs back. And offense is definitely something the guy loves to do. He loves to play offense. It's very, very clear that Logan Mayu is an offensive defenseman, but he's got work to do, and that's okay because at the end of the day, he did make a lot of progress this weekend, right? So heading now into the Habs main training camp, he's got his confidence up and he's feeling good about himself, I believe, after the better showing that he had against Boston and Ottawa. So who else did we see stand out from the Canadiens today from their rookies? Well, I already mentioned Jan Meshach. I mentioned Florian Jacki. In the beginning of the game, Pfizer had that shorthanded snipe from Ottawa. That was Ottawa's only goal of the game when the Habs were on the power play. And this isn't a standout in a good way, but the Canadiens had a lot of power plays in this game that they did not capitalize on. And that seems to be the theme from the Canadiens the last few years is our power play just can't seem to capitalize, don't have that sort of killer instinct on the power play. I'm not going to give the rookies a hard time about it, but it just reminded you of how much we struggled on the power play the last several years, and the rookies did as well. All right, David Reinbacher. So Reinbacher definitely stood in this game in terms of just the simple plays that he was able to make and offensive chances. Had some mistakes defensively, mainly one in the first period that I noticed where he got caught deep and then just a turnover the other way, which thankfully didn't turn into much. But I want to bring out a standout specifically, and this was invitee goaltender Spooner from the Canadiens, actually the third stringer, if you will, behind Jacob Dobesh and Quentin Miller. So he came in and put out a pretty great performance today, I think, overall. I didn't think Ottawa was that threatening offensively a good portion of the game. Like I mentioned, Montreal really carried the puck and had puck possession for a majority of the game. So that being said, though, when he had to make saves, he made them. And credit to him, to Spooner. I'm not sure if they're calling him Spooner, but he played very, very well positional hockey in net. And credit to him because I think he made an impression on the Canadiens, and we'll see where he ends up. In terms of other standouts that remain from this game, Riley Kidney actually got the first goal in this game, and Kidney has stood out over the weekend as well. I got to say that Riley Kidney, another center prospect for the Canadiens, or a winger, however you want to put him, but mostly known as a center, I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But Kidney, this guy has a baby face. Number one, he looks so young, but a guy that is smart, and he uses his head out there. You can definitely tell that he's a smart player. He's got offensive ability. You didn't see like anything crazy outstanding, but I mean, he did get the goal. He got the tying goal, which actually was a good little shot. And it looked like he was going to try to go blocker or higher, but it ended up going maybe deflecting. It looked like because the puck went in right along the ice. But I also want to talk about Philip Meshach, my boy. My boy here. We like to call him Dude Where's Meshach. A shout out to Dude Where's My Car movie reference. Anyways, but I thought Meshach, especially in the third period specifically near the end of the game, love the way that guy carries the puck, comes in with speed, comes in with creativity, puck protects really well. And I just can't wait to see Meshach develop. I don't know what it is. I keep pointing him out, but he definitely stood out more to me in this game versus the game I saw in person in Buffalo Friday. So I think I'm really looking forward. I love guys that just kind of get you sort of looking forward to what they're going to become. And I think Meshach, and he was playing center, by the way, I should mention that he was playing center today versus Ottawa and won some faceoffs, even looked good on the power play, positionally sound, definitely positionally sound out there, has great edge work, has great skating. And again, puck protects, very creative offensively, always looking for the best play possible, had good chemistry, even with Logan Mayu on the point, just on the power play in general, Meshach did. And, I could point out a couple others maybe, but I think I'm going to leave it at that because I got to go. But got to say, this was fun. this was the final prospect challenge game. The Habs win 2 of 3, like I mentioned. And now it's on to main training camp for the Montreal Canadiens. I do want to talk about Joshua Waugh, actually, really quick. I lied. So Joshua Waugh had a couple good looks in this game, hit a couple posts, at least one for sure. On the power play, looked a little bit dangerous. I thought actually Tournier looked good. Trudeau looked good again, by the way. I'm just, these are coming off the top of my head here. And honestly, I'm going to pull up the roster again just to see if there's anybody else that I missed in terms of standouts for this game. Ty Smilanic, didn't get a chance to talk much about Ty Smilanic. Came over in the Calgary Flames trade. I believe it was the Tyler Toffoli deal. And didn't see anything I wasn't too impressed with. I mean, I think he didn't seem to get a ton of ice time. He was playing on the fourth line with Meshach and John Parker Jones. But I mean, Meshach on the fourth line stood out to me a lot. But Ty Smilanic looked okay. He seems to be a good penalty killer. I noticed that. But offensively, he was trying to get some chances when he was able. But that's all I got. I'm going to leave it at that, like I said. So the Canadiens' main training camp is about to begin. Things are about to get real at training camp, and we'll see what these guys have the rest of the way. Go Habs, go. If you guys are enjoying the channel, I have these buttons available, so I will put them up there. You know what buttons to push if you want to support the channel, guys. So thank you so much. We'll see you at training camp. Glad I got to get in a quick reaction for this final prospects challenge game with you guys. We'll see you real soon. Go Habs, go. We'll see you soon, guys.